Now I'm not sure this should be moving like this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Toolbox car, you guessed it. As you can see, it's already on jack stands. What I did was hit it with an oil change and just the oil in the filter. But what I noticed the few past days, as I've been driving, I've been hearing a lot of noise from under the car, mainly on this side, the passenger side. So when I came under, or actually I just reached my arm under and just gently touched the sway bar, which is, let me show you right here. Here's the sway bar, and it is on jack stands. When it was on the ground, what I did notice was I just took it like this and I shook it. Here's what I found out. Do you see all the movement? I'm not sure if it's supposed to have this much travel, but when there's pressure on the tire, when the car is down, it's under load. I mean, you can only imagine the noise that this makes when it drives. So I went ahead and I got some end links for the sway bar, and I got new bushings just in case. So this is what we're going to be working on today. Got the wheel off. This is the passenger side, and I turned the wheel to the right so we can get a better look at what's going on here. So here's the end link right here and right here, and I see that it's already been changed. Why I say that? Because I can see right here it says Moog, which produces a bunch of suspension parts. But if we look here, kind of, I don't know if you can see it, but here's what happens. This is, I think, yeah. Now I'm not sure this should be moving like this. The whole bar, both ends. And it makes a lot of clunking noise when I drive. So we're gonna go ahead and switch those out. And also, let me just turn it. I got new bushings right here. These are the bushings from the bracket to the frame. And while we're here, I think I'm gonna swap them out anyways. The car has over 90,000 miles already. So this is what we're gonna be working on today. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first is begin with taking off this top bolt, which is right there, and that is a, now I thought I'd have to take the rotor off, but it barely goes in there and it fits, and that is a size, let's see, that's a size 15 socket. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get that off and see if I won't have to get an open end wrench on this side to hold it down. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do first? Actually, I think that the both sides are off. I'm gonna get a little PB blaster, penetrating oil, and I'm just gonna spray it on there and on the bolt down here. See if that'll help it loosen it. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that again. Size 15 socket. It's breaking loose, but I think I'm gonna have to hold it. Okay, so on the back here, size 18 open end wrench, and I'm probably gonna take a breaker bar to here, as it's on there tight. Okay, here we go. goes. Okay, there's the nut. And I'm gonna bring you guys around this way. And I think same thing here. Yep. Size 15. .18" or 18 open end wrench. This one came off easier. Okay, so we take the bottom one off, the bottom bolt, and it slides right off. Here we go. Okay, so here's the passenger side. Again, this is a Moog brand, and I mean, it looks crusty, and I'm not sure if this is how it's supposed to be even. So what I'm gonna do now is show you guys what I did buy. Now here's the part number: DriveWorks DWK80140. These I picked up from Advanced Auto Parts, and these are the ones I'm going to be using. I got them at a great deal, I think. And I think the biggest difference here is the size of the bars, you can see. But pretty much it just does the same thing. These are, I think, shot. I don't know if this is what they're supposed to be doing, but they do not look good at all. I think they probably serve their purpose. But these do move around, but they are nice and stiff and brand new. So with that said, so I'm gonna go ahead and install this side first, and then we will go on the other side, take that one off and put it back on. And now you want to remember how these things were. You can see there's a little rubber ring, then you got this like a metal washer that goes on there, and you can see it on this one as well. If I take this off, there's this rubber gasket, not a gasket, but it's like a rubber ring, and then you got this metal washer. So we're just gonna keep it the same way. On the bottom it didn't have anything, so, and if we look here, it also doesn't have anything on the bottom part. It is gonna go in like this. This will go into the knuckle, and this will go into the bar. And I do wanna, let's probably just go from here. I just gotta clean off any of the PB blaster, and then you have the debris like so, and also up here in the knuckle. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the top first right here into the knuckle. Actually, I think the bottom will go in first. like that. Nope. Top first. And I just bent it, and now to the bottom. Okay, that's it. That's all there's to it. That's all there's to it. Just put it in, put the nut on. And tighten that one, and also the nut on top. Just gonna hand tighten it. And on these, instead of having the 18mm on the inside here, you got this on the outside, which is probably gonna be a size 7 socket to hold it when you're tightening. Okay, so it'll be a little different. Instead of using a socket like we did on the old one, which was a size 15, what we're gonna do now is take a size 7 socket to go in here, or it could be an open-end wrench. I just have a socket nearby, and a size 17 open-end wrench. Gonna hold it and use the open edge size 17 to screw on the nut. And even without it right now, it's fine. I guess we'll see when we start tightening if we even need the. Okay, we might not even need the size 7. Okay, that's it. That's it. I didn't need the size 7. That is on. And now let's go to the other side. Now we have this one here, which is a 17, and I'm gonna go ahead and probably find a socket. I hope I don't have to take this off because it's kind of hard to get in there. So let me see what we can. So I could get a socket in there. So I got a socket in there, but I won't be able to get the ratchet in there. Okay, so I'm afraid the taking off part was easy, but with this style of end link, I'm gonna have to go ahead and pop off the rotor. That way I can have easy access. Easy access to this bolt up here, or this nut. So what's gonna have to happen is I'm gonna have to go ahead and pop off. I'm gonna have to take off the caliper and get the rotor off. Get the caliper off, get the caliper bracket off. Okay, to get the bracket, the caliper off, I went ahead and for the bracket, it's a size 18. Size 18. Bottom. I'm hoping the whole bracket and the caliper and everything will pop off, so I don't have to take off the caliper separately. Okay. As a matter of fact, I think this will work. So I have this whole assembly off, you can see, and I just scooted out. I don't think I'm even gonna have to take everything off. I'll put this here, put this on top. And now we can see, check this out. Now we have all this room to get in on top with our size 17. But better yet, so yeah, we can just move it out like this and have enough room and not have to completely take off the whole assembly. But here we go. Okay. Nice and snug. That's it. Okay, so I guess that was a little bit easier than having to take everything off. Nice to run into these small tricks and little shortcuts. And now we just simply roll it back up. Get our size 18 millimeter bolts and line it up with the bracket on the other side. Got it. And we'll use our 18 to go back in there and just put everything back. Power tools would be so much better. Okay, that's nice and snug. And that's it for this side. So we could see the new end link right there. And we're gonna go ahead and go on that side and change the other side. Now before putting on the bottom end link to the sway bar, I'm gonna take off the other side because I have to pop off. And I also got new sway bar bushings that I'm gonna change. So we did install the top here and we tighten it, and you saw that we partially took off the caliper with the bracket so we can move the rotor to tighten the stop one. But I'm gonna leave this one bottom off because we're gonna take off the sway bar and change the bushings as well. Let's go to the other. We are on the other side, and once again for the top here, for the top, size 15 socket ratchet. I already sprayed it with some PB Blaster, and to hold it is a size 18 open end wrench. And I'm gonna just grab a breaker bar right away. This side's a little tougher. Okay, got that. On the bottom, same thing. Gonna get the breaker bar. Yeah. So this one is actually not as bad as the other one, but yeah, it's definitely, yeah, it's busted. The rubber is all messed up. This bottom one's not too bad. I mean, it looks pretty bad. So what I'm gonna do is like we did on the other side, and that is take off the caliper brackets right away. Move it out of the way. And you know what? I probably don't even have to take off the whole bolt. I could leave it because that will give me enough room to screw in. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put that on top right away so it could just stay there in place. Nope, looks like it's gonna have to come off. So both of the bolts will have to. Let me see, what about now? Okay, this might work. Okay, so that worked. We didn't have to take it off all the way. We got the top one in. The bottom is still loose. What we're gonna do now is pop off the sway bar to change these bushings. I'm gonna switch the tripod to a smaller one so we can get under the car. All right, guys, so we're going under sway bar as it runs, and right here. So we're gonna start with this side to take off those two bolts. Now this is a size 15, like a tall or long socket. Pretty easy. I figured might as well switch them out while I'm under here. Power tools, that's where it's at. There's one. Okay, this is the Ford one because it doesn't have the cut, and there is a stamping of Ford, and actually it doesn't look bad at all. The new ones are I think 20 bucks. Let's just take off the other side and just inspect them and see what we're gonna do. Size 15. That's pretty heavy. Let's come over here into the shade. Okay, so here's the other side. This is the sway bar. It's pretty beefy for the front. I'm gonna take these off. I have to work it back and forth to get it off, and then the end, since it's just gonna pull it over. Okay, so here we have this one, the stock one. Got the part number on there and everything, and Ford stamp. It doesn't look that bad of shape actually. Still got a bounce to it. These are Duralast that I picked up. Part numbers right there. So let me see. And this is the Duralast. So they have a cut here so you can install it easier, as you can see right there. Now they're pretty much identical. The only thing I see different is the hole, or the opening where the sway bar. Let me see if you could see it. If you look in there, you can probably see that the new one is a little smaller, as in it's tighter. Since I do have the bar off, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just replace it. These are probably original, 93,000 miles already. Like I said, they're not, I've seen worse where they're broken and rotted and falling apart. But since I have it off already, I am just gonna go ahead and put these new ones on and just not have to worry about it again for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and keep these for now, and if these do deteriorate or break apart or whatever, I'll have at least some backup. But until then, probably definitely just gonna put these new ones on. Just gonna go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Let's see here. Just open it up and slide it on. That's it. I don't think there's a wrong or a right way. I'm gonna go ahead and rip this off now. And again, like here, you could see that where it screws in, it's bigger, so you just move it out and just squeeze it right over like that. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this clean. Let's go back under the car, install these brackets, and then we'll put in the sway bar back onto the links and tidy them. So I have the bushings back on. Now I found myself thinking, which way does the bar go? Because as you can see, these ends point down, and this bar has never been taken off, I don't believe, from the chassis. But what I found was pretty helpful actually, and I noticed that this bar, if you can see it right here, there's a green mark. I believe this is my own opinion or my own observation, that they marked it to show that this was the bottom facing down, because if you take it off, these ends, they kind of point down when the bar is straight. Because if you had it up the other way, this green mark would be facing up. And I remember seeing this, and I know it's probably from the factory or the manufacturing, they do it. I'm just going to use it as a reference point that this was how it went, because it would be a shame to, you know, bolt up all 4 of the bolts and then only to find out that you had it on upside down or backwards. So what I'm going to do is I have a rag. I'm just going to wipe it up here where the bracket comes into contact, and also the bracket themselves right here, just where it touches the chassis or the frame. Actually, I'm just gonna wipe it off because you saw that dust falling off. Now this might be a little tricky one person, but I'm gonna get under there and line it up and put on the bolt. Okay, and now we'll do the same on this side. Clean the bracket, just wipe it, and then and right now I'm not gonna tighten it all the way. I'm just gonna go ahead and snug it up, because what I want to do is get the end links set up first. But I think these are guides. These will not prevent it from going further than they need to go. Okay, let's go to this side. Okay, just gonna leave it like that. And now I want to go ahead and get the links on. Okay, so that's in. I'm gonna go ahead and put the bolt on. This is a size 17. Open and wrench. Okay. Now, remember we took off the bracket, the caliper bracket, so that we can put the top bolt on. Don't forget to put that in. And so I did find it easier to take off the bottom. Maybe the top would be easier. Just take one bolt off to scoot the caliper over and the brake rotor to put the top one on. If you're using this style of end links. Okay, so this side we got the new end link. On top we got the bolt. We got the brake caliper bracket back on. There is our new sway bar bushing. As you can see, I still didn't tighten those bolts, but we are gonna go on the other side. Okay, that's in. Just takes a little wiggling around. Now I'm gonna put the nut on and use the nut to pull in the rest of the way. Sometimes you wish you had an extra set of hands, because to do this is one thing, to record it and try to get the right camera angles, and so the camera's not in your way, and so the microphone is facing towards you, and so it's visible and clear. It's a whole art process. Okay. Okay, that's on. Double check the brake caliper bracket. Good. Now let's go under the car and finish up with the bushing brackets. Okay, the bar's not moving like it used to. Maybe some of you are thinking, what is this about? You got a leak somewhere. No, that's not a leak. That's a Ford design to put the filter right there. And then whenever you take off the filter, it all just leaks here. And it's kind of unfortunate. But I think I've seen these little plastic, they kind of look like not a funnels, but they are these little plastic tray that comes here, and it's got a little spout so that it doesn't leak all over your parts, but it lets the oil go in the direction you want it to go. Snug. Tighten these bolts. And now let's do this side. Okay, that is on. Whew. Now solid. You guys saw before how it was. So just a recap, new sway bar end link, because the old ones, as we've seen, are shot. New sway bar bushings, and I did sneak in an oil change because it was time, and same on this side. New link, both sides, new bushing, and it's not moving. So I think the clunking and the cluttering and the clicking and clacking is gonna go away. And now I'm just gonna put everything back together. I'm not gonna bore you with putting the wheel back on, but before I do, look at my hands. Greasy, dirty, and you can see that I've been touching the caliper, and excuse me, the rotor. I've been grabbing the caliper. So what I'm gonna do is brake clean, just spray it to get any of that grease off, and also on the other side. Whew. Look at this side, dirty, clean. That's it. Now I'm gonna just throw the wheel back on. I'll include all the parts that I used inside the description, and that'll do it for the day. Thank you for tuning in to Love What You Drive.